Good morning, all. It's Pepper and me. We should do
Don't
lo-fi.
mind me today. I'm not even wearing my glasses. I can barely see my own computer. I need to put my glasses on.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm leaning it. PC every time I do that too. I need to
So
load. Capsog.
apparently Billy, or Bill, as you all know from messages from Bill.
Hello, Mega and Max.
Hello.
Wow, that's a lot of upfront people.
He's been trying to watch his show when it's been streaming, even though he's in the next room. And apparently it's not showing up on his Facebook, and he doesn't know on how to find it on YouTube.
Oh, you have to subscribe to my channel on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now I'm looking at it.
I have the one QuaCk channel on Facebook. I haven't made a YouTube channel for QuaCk yet.
Yeah, so I am
trying to figure out how to make it link to your stuff.
Well, no, I got it. I think I got it.
You got it.
I think I got it. I'm just gonna do it this way. He's gonna probably watch through YouTube.
Well, we're showing. I mean, like, CabSav and Megamax are coming in on Twitch, but I don't know which Twitch they're coming in on because Kane's got his Twitch channel and I've got my Twitch channel. I think they're both coming in on Kane's Twitch channel now. Because I think the one coming in on my Twitch channel is Brent when Brent gets here. The front door is closed. I need to replace the lock on my front door. I'm annoyed. We have a code key lock, but it's ancient, and it's getting to the point now where the little servo does not throw the lock. All right, I'm going to switch to drawing monitor.
All right. Well, I'm getting the glasses.
Get your glasses so you can see.
Mm-hmm. I will be right back.
After
I have to go replenish my water. I'm going to be moving my watercolor palette over here because it's a better angle for me to work on this guy.
Sounds fair. We are doing all kinds of fun things. I am just trying to maximize my time by scanning in photographs of my mom from when she was a little baby and try to get them scanned in while I can. Some of them have some severe water damage, so it's taking some effort. I'm going to have to clean them up. And probably I'm going to have to clean them up using GIMP because I'm trying to get out of Adobe in a desperate way.
No, but Adobe loves you.
Yeah, I'm over Adobe. I am so over Adobe. Oh my god. Did you hear the most recent thing? Ah, Bill's here. Hello, Bill.
Yeah, I heard I saw the post from yesterday, and someone recommending dark. What's it called?
Yeah, I actually picked up. I went ahead and got the subscription to
what he was talking about.
Yeah, to that, and I'm gonna mess with it a little today. And so we'll see whether that works or not.
So as you knew last night, everyone else didn't. I had thought that we were doing a show last night, so um, uh, I posted a photo of what I have in front of me in our group chat, private group chat.
I saw it.
Um,
I was in bed, asleep. Well, I wasn't asleep. I was working on that.
Well, the thing is the idea is to work on some of the finer details that I want to lay in right now with the raw wood, and then I'm gonna spray coat it after the show
Cool.
today. So, yeah. Oh, shoot, I forgot. I need
What
to get
about Figma? What does Figma do?
Figma. Bill, you need to explain Figma.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't know what you're talking about.
I was asking, so yeah, it's all good. Bill can at some point, because I'm trying to figure out what are you talking about? Luminar bought out Figma, or that Adobe bought out Figma? So, all right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this spot here. I'm going to duplicate it. And use this paint copy as my reference panel. Oh, okay, I got it. Web designers use the layout pages and UI. Yeah, I could see that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and in my reference directories in here. You. So the multiply shading method and the color shading method comes up with two different concepts. So the multiply blending mode and the color shading mode. So I'm going to try to work with a couple of these. I'm going to start with this guy right here as a multiply and go to the color codes. Remember that we've got our here. This is my shading side. Right, so I'm going to take this paint level here, I'm going to add a new layer, I'm going to multiply, and we're going to look at its instructions. And multiply says 50% opacity, so we're going to go down to 50. 49 is close enough. I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to start cutting into here and giving us some shading. And because of the nature of this, I'm going to see what happens if I actually take my painterly blender and I blend it in a little, like so, and see how that comes out looking. Just kind of work it in, like so. I'm just going to take a look and see how this works, right? Because when I use the painterly blender, I get a nice, looks like paint kind of going down sort of effect on this. Putting these in. There's a zillion pictures from my mom's 5th birthday. And it was
Is that
like,
what you're working on?
as I was saying yesterday, it was in the newspaper. Her 5th birthday was so important, it was in the newspaper.
Seriously?
Yeah. Really, it boils down to, Conroe is just so small that it ended up in the newspaper. It really would have boiled down.
That makes sense.
But I found with all of these pictures of my mom at her 5th birthday party, I found a whole bunch of, kind of newspaper clipping, Donna Stevens in her, 5th birthday, has her 5th birthday. Isn't she adorable?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my grandmother was a socialite, so it actually does make sense if you,
Mm-hmm.
follow that logic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. infamous worst pictures. My dad was talking about that one. It cracked me up. He's saying that apparently there was somebody who would go around town with a pony, and it was the rage for all the kids to get on the pony. He had like little outfits for the kids to wear.
When your parents were younger?
Yeah, when they were like 5 or 6, because dad and mom were, they lived really close together, so much so that there are pictures in this batch of my dad and my mom together.
Okay.
So like 3 years old, my mom and my dad in the same picture.
Gotcha.
So it's one of those, just interesting coincidences of life or whatever. But they grew up together literally. It's actually how they got together was mom wrote letters to dad while he was in the army.
Oh, okay.
And so, since she was, one of the few people who wrote to him, they began a relationship.
Gotcha.
And even when they divorced, that was one of the things mom had said was, we can't stop being friends. We're just not really good lovers, which made sense. I get that.
Well, it's a little weird for me to hear that, but that's just because my own weirdness with my own parents' divorce.
Yeah, they were. Like one of the last trips we did as before mom passed away was when my sister got her badge and everything from Quantico. We went out to Virginia and stayed in Virginia, and Gia and I, my sister and I, stayed in one room, and mom and dad stayed in the other room. And I even said, isn't this a little weird? And dad's like, no, we've been roommates for a long time. We're good at this. That was many years after the divorce. Thanks. I end up with every now and then my cursor ends up on top of the little it brings up the news brief, and I'm like, thanks. Like, really needed a news brief right now. I am actually really getting aggravated about being railroaded into stuff. I'm feeling particularly railroaded in this last batch of software updates.
For Adobe?
Because now you have this automatic news brief that shows up if you put your mouse over the temperature down in the bottom left-hand corner. And if you click on anything, it brings up Edge, the Edge browser, and I use Chrome. And it brings up Edge, and the first thing it says is, hey, we've noticed that Edge is not your default browser. Do you want to switch? So you don't click on anything, because if you do, it's just going to harass you. It's so frustrating. It's trying to get me to move over to Edge as my default browser, and I really don't want to have Edge as my default browser. If nothing else, all of my settings are set up in Chrome.
Yeah.
But moreover, I just don't like anything that harasses me that much, I'm feeling railroaded.
It's Clippy. It's Microsoft's Clippy all over again.
Right?
And for those of you who do not know what Clippy is, be glad that you don't know.
Right? It's better that way. Yeah, I mean, I know that Edge is Chrome effectively, and really there isn't a difference. I'm so aggravated at all of them. I'm annoyed now that Adobe has gotten to the point where its default mode is to save to the cloud. I don't save anything to the cloud. I save things to my hard drive.
Well, you do have to go into your preferences and actually change it.
I know. That's stupid. I mean,
Well,
it doesn't do exactly what it used to do.
and you can save as a JPEG. You just have to basically do it the way that they want you to save it as a JPEG now.
Yeah, I'm not saying I can't. I'm saying that. Okay, so here's a good example. I need to fix all of the Springs comics. They are all just slightly off line, just a little bit. They're off by about 4 pixels to the right. All 300 of them. They need to be loaded, moved, and then saved. I now have to load them, move it, save as, save not from the cloud to my hard drive, to my hard drive for each one. In other words, what used to be a 1-step process is now a 6-step process. All so that they can do whatever they're doing with whatever. It's like, I didn't need that. That was too many things that they added in there for whatever
reason.
Whatever was their reasoning that they needed to do it. It's not helping. It added to my workflow. And when I start dealing with things like as an example, my huge numbers of ridiculous, stupid things that they dealt with.
Well, it's like I will get a job and they require, like, I'll get a job and they'll require me to save as a PNG file.
Right.
Which I have no problem with. However, the new standards of saving with Adobe literally make it very hard to save as a PNG because you cannot have another layer in the image at all to save as a PNG. Before, you could save as a PNG. It could be on different layers. Doesn't matter. It will create a PNG for you, and you can work off of a PSD in the meantime, while you're making sure that the PNG is while you're making sure that the client's image is good.
Yep.
Now you have to make a completely separate file. You have to flatten everything, and then you have to save it to a PNG. Then you have to undo everything that you've done if they want to change, and you can't close the file out.
Yep.
It is aggravating.
Yeah, it's making me move to GIMP.
Every single time someone says the word GIMP, my 13-year-old self comes out in my mind.
Yep. And it's like the Wankle engine, I swear. I've been working on my driving school stuff, and the previous person who built all the curriculum had this fascination with the Wankle engine. And I'm like, I've worked on one in my entire life, and it was a bizarre, broken down Mazda. And I was like, I've never seen them other than that. You know what I mean? I've never. So putting it in driver's ed is a little ridiculous. Not
how to the breakdown of fixing a car,
right? Types of engines and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, but wouldn't really think that a Wankel engine's that popular, and all it does is make everybody snicker in class because it's a Wankel.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody snickers, and I'm like, so we're not helping the situation any here. Man. Something else to see dates on there. I say December 1948. You know? It is kind of weird. Right.
I'm like very happy today. Anyways, after some of the news, some of my like, I have a very select amount of celebrity people that I follow,
Mm-hmm.
and one of them is Kimberly J. Brown and her boyfriend Daniel Koontz. For those of you who do not know, those are Marty Piper and Cal from Halloween Town, Calabar's Revenge.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know these people.
And basically, they met back up as adults and started dating, and they just recently got engaged.
Aw.
So the hero and villain from that movie, that made-for-TV movie by Disney, are now engaged to one another.
That's cute.
And surprisingly enough, like, if both of them reprise their roles for like a Halloween Town thing, I just view it as they'll probably use it as couples therapy.
Right? Couples therapy.
It's just hysterical because everyone's like, she wasn't in that much stuff. I'm like, she's been working since she was a child. Like, I don't know about you, but like, I grew up watching this person. So
Yeah, I don't know her very well. I don't know her at all, actually. So she's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a problem.
Well, then I get like, well, the queen died, and then I'm like, well, that's all good. She was an old lady. And they're like, insensitive. And I'm like, no. She's not the leader of my country, A, and I'm not an Anglophile, so how did you feel about Diana? Like most of the people wondering why America was mourning her. I mean, she was a great person.
Floofy.
Huh?
I thought she was floofy.
Yeah.
Like she like when she saw the cows and stuff like that, she was like, cows and stuff. She was cute. I thought she was adorable. It's sad to see her go. But yeah. But she was also in her 90s. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. You can only hope for so much, guys. Seriously.
Yeah. And now I'm hoping for Star Trek to come true because I think it's very funny. That would be hysterical.
What about Star Trek coming true?
There's a second season episode called Up the Long Ladder of TNG where they talk about the fact that Ireland reunified with England in 2024. And so it would be pretty funny if now that the Queen, which was the primary reason that Ireland is mad in this juncture, because there's like a number of reasons, but at this juncture, it'd be funny if they decided to reunify with England because she's gone now and stuff. So
I honestly don't think that will probably happen.
I don't think it'll happen either, but it'd be funny.
It would be funny, yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of times where Star Trek has been spot on something, but the ones that are freaky is when Star Trek's spot on about social things. Because usually, it's technology or whatever, and that seems perfectly reasonable for Star Trek to be spot on about technology. There's sci-fi writers writing about science fiction things where they're looking and researching new technologies. From a spam risk. Incoming call from a spam risk. I'm going to talk to you. I think what it really is that it's one of the voting things, because I like to be on the polls. So
wow, I knew you guys were kind of free and open over there, but I didn't realize Maya allowed you to do
on the polls, man. On the polls. Hey, when you got it, flaunt it. Got it, flaunt it. Anyway, so I like to get those calls where they're like, how are you voting on this topic or that topic? I actually like that because I know that makes a difference. I think it actually makes more of a difference than my vote actually does, even though I vote every time and will continue to religiously do so.
I get those calls too. Bill didn't. I don't know if Bill gets them too or not, but I know I get them. And I had this one that they basically berated me over and over to say like I was gonna vote for someone, and I'm like, I already told you I'm not gonna vote for this person. Their track record's horrible, and I don't care if they're a woman or not. She just doesn't like. I'm not going to vote for her just because she's a woman. Sorry, no.
I noticed a lot of leading, and that I didn't appreciate that. There was a lot of leading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would say, if Joe Smith were voted in today, would you vote for him? And then they'd say, let me tell you a few things about Joe Smith. 1, he kills kittens every morning. 2, he hates kindergartners and has already been convicted for 6 murders. What? Then they're like, but Bob Jones here has never done anything wrong. And Bob Jones, would you vote for Joe Smith? It's like, that's leading, guys. You're leading me.
Yeah, it's actually technically it's an illegal tactic for voting.
Right? I'm like, you're technically leading me.
Like one of it was like, you know, this particular person was running for school, like the school board,
Uh-huh.
and first of all, she's a stay-at-home mom that was concerned, and she's basically wanting to take everything by the reins herself. She has no educational background whatsoever, except for staying at home, helping her kids with school. She has no formal education. She's never worked in a public school in her life. She's never worked in a private school in her life. She's just done homeschool with her kids. That is not a. If you're going to go work in the public for education, I don't see that as a good quality. If you're going to try to be there for other people's kids,
Right.
because you only experience your own.
Not very worldly.
Right. And they kept going on and on about the opponents basically being old and they've gotten used to their comfortable spot on the school board, that they need someone fresh to come in to give those, techniques that she used for her own children on the kids today. And I'm like, no.
Yep.
No, that's not how it works, because not all kids respond well to homeschool. A, not all kids respond well to the current schooling system that we have. B, and C, like, I'm not going to vote for someone just because they homeschooled their kid and they have no idea on how to homeschool, how they would handle a full class load of like 20 or more kids. They only worked with individual children, one at a time, most likely, and probably limited to, like, I want to say she looks like a 5-person child, like a 5-child home. I didn't really look up. I didn't really look up after that because, like, I had zero interest in knowing any more about this person after that phone call.
Man, it's probably a good thing that I never found this before.
What?
This is my mom's first grade report card. Donna is doing nice work, but talks too much in school and needs to be neater with her work. I am proud of you, Donna. Keep up the good work. You have not handed in all of your writing, or you would have made an A. I'm only laughing because my mom, when she finally graduated, yeah, you don't answer polling calls anymore. Yeah, they'll use information as counterintelligence. Yeah. Well, that's what I try to do, that's actually exactly what I am doing, is trying to counter their trigger issue crap that they're after. They're trying to see how many people are falling for it. And I'm not interested in doing that,
Neither am I.
So I tend to try to counter that intelligence. Wow, this photo's in color. It says Kodacolor. This one's in color too, although the color is all gone. Oh. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. Christmas of 1951.
Guys, next comic is going to be about someone who's sorting through the lives of their parents after they pass.
Yeah, well, maybe.
And finds out that they were a secret off-world space officer. And they suddenly get transported into the middle of a revolutionary war on another planet.
Yep, here is the infamous picture that I like showing to people whenever. So in this picture, that's my mom, that's my dad, that's my uncle, and that's their dog Snooks' butt as he toodles away. But yeah, I just found another picture though that's earlier than this even, and says Donna and Mike, you know, and it's like, wow, you know. Yeah, I'm just trying to get these things scanned. I have 1,000 pictures to scan, and there's so many. And I'm just trying to get all of them scanned in. Because we can't do anything with them until they're all scanned in. And they're just deteriorating. And now that Dad passed, I've got all of his photos to scan in. And you know what I mean? And we're losing the people. My great aunt Betty passed away 2 weeks ago, and she's in some of these pictures here, and I'm realizing without Betty, I'm not going to be able to easily identify some of these pictures anymore because she's in these pictures, but she can't help me anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Crap, you know? I've still got James and you go boxes. I've got Uncle James and Uncle Floyd, who are still around. And they are in these pictures too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm into I haven't decided whether I want to AI colorize or not. You know what I mean? Like, I've been on the fence with it.
Well, I have like this really old photo of my grandfather with his aunt from his mom's side.
Uh-huh.
And like she was his favorite aunt. And I've always loved the image of the two of them together because it's like I just always have. Like, I've always liked the photo. And so when my grandfather passed away, I got a copy of the photo because my grandmother got, like, a ton of copies of, like, photos of my grandfather when he was younger and stuff like that. And, like, I snagged one of the copies because she said that she, like, got, what was it? She had, like, 5 copies made of that one specific one because she knew people liked it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I've been debating about colorizing that one.
Yep.
But I mean, the thing is I know Bill likes AI colorization.
Mm-hmm. He just said so.
Yep, I know that. And he's gotten tons of boxes of pictures that he still has to do.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I'm like doing them now, is because if I don't scan all these in, you know, they're never going to be done. Yeah, I do too. I took a picture of my dad when my dad was 7 or 8. Then I digitally colorized that, and he was pretty impressed with that. He was like, "Whoa, that's pretty good," you know. He's like, "How'd you know that shirt was blue?" That was the best part. He was like, that's really good. How did you know your shirt was blue? You know, because he remembered the shirt. And I was like, I actually just took a guess. And he's like, well, you did a good job because guess what? That shirt was blue. That was one of my favorites. It was pretty funny. State of Texas free textbook card. Just humor. I mean, to think about some of these things. First grade for my mom. I'm not a monster. I keep both images. I'm not a monster. I don't destroy them. Yeah, I just haven't decided whether I want to get into that mess. And AI coloring is kind of weird. Not weird in a practical way, weird in a conceptual way. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure.
Mhm.
I'm not sure where I sit on AI yet.
Well, if I were to do like some weird project where I needed a lot of images made for it, I probably would do an AI generated like thing for like the quick images that I need.
Right. Well, somebody posted last night on Reddit these beautiful pictures of sort of armor. Oh, hey, Bill, when you figure out how to do that, will you let me know? Because I have a bunch as well, and we don't know what to do about all of it and where to even start. So when you figure that out, keep me in the loop, please. Anyway, back to my story. So when I was out on Reddit last night, and somebody had done these beautiful pictures of like panthers and stuff, but they were human panthers with armor and a gorgeous armor, and I found out it was AI generated, and I was like, because I downloaded them to use them as reference for things, and I was like, oh man, because I like the idea of the cat armor sort of effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was all annoyed because turned out that it was AI generated, but it was phenomenal. It was fantastic looking.
Yeah. Well, I was watching someone work on a project that they had to do professionally. Like, they had to come up with like a bunch of advertisements on the fly, and they didn't have the time for it. They had 3 weeks to get done a project that normally takes them about a month and a half.
Right.
So, like, for that type of deal, like, that's where AI generated art comes really handy. And they got some really good ones, especially for the subject matter that they were trying to cover for it, which was cyberpunk.
Yep.
And it all fit, but like then they went in and they like the person that was working on making sure that they had the images went in and like kind of blurred them a little, experimented with the printing process so that they looked like they were kind of out of focus on purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that part about AI generated art, that's like the good thing. Like, you can still alter it, but I'm not going to sit there and pay money for people to make the art and not put it in something. You know, like, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, hey, that's kind of cool. Let me buy it. And if they say, oh, well, I just put in the what I wanted and an AI generated, I won't pay for that at that point.
Right. I mean that's my problem is well, and as somebody who uses 3D maquettes
Mm-hmm.
to make my process go faster, I really don't feel like I have a lot of room to complain. You know what I mean? Like, I really do sort of um, really do kind of feel like I need to, but on the same token, it's a different kind of sort of world, I guess, where you're trying to pass that off as
Yeah.
my artwork, like that exact problem that I had earlier with that beautiful cat picture. They're gorgeous, but somebody typed in a bunch of words into a search algorithm, and okay, but you know that doesn't make it viable,
Well, like it also opens up the whole, well, if we can get AI generated art, people who actually want to be artists, who have trained for years, who have honed their skills to be artists, now are being viewed as, well, we have AI generation of art, let's just negate them.
Yeah, we're expendable again.
And then, well, let's put it this way: if you treat people expendable, that's why you need to get AI generated art in the first place, because you've treated people horribly. And secondly, like, I think that's more like you need to start evaluating the way that you treat people, in order to understand why people may just be pulling away from you because they don't want to deal with you.
Right. And that's the thing, is that it causes a problem that it causes people to do things. It causes a disruption in the economy. It causes a disruption in the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's. We were talking about basic income the other day, and I was in some argument with it, and they were like, well, if basic income exists, everybody would just sit at home and not do work. And I'm like, I have been actually working for free for almost a decade now, and I work every day, and I work sometimes 60-hour weeks. It's just that I'm not working on something that somebody has considered as valuable.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm certainly not lazy. I'm not sitting around doing nothing. I actually played a game last night for the first time in like 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this instance, I can see how basic income would be useful. It'd be useful to have basic income for this because I could build up to something that I could sell. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm now building up, and the comics are starting to come out. And that is definitely something that the economy wants, and that is a valuable product, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But if I have to spend all of my life scrambling at a 7-Eleven to make bills, I'll never finish the thing, And that's where things go kind of south. So I can kind of see it.
Well, it's kind of like one person was posted and like wanted opinions and thoughts on when people sit there and come up to you and go, oh, so you have a make-believe job.
Right.
And here's the deal. When you tell an artist that they don't have an actual job,
prove an argument? Probably not.
You're gonna like start an argument, A.
Well, no, Bill's saying I can't use myself as proof to prove an argument.
Yeah, well,
Well, and I actually feel like that part of the
He
problem.
can't use himself either as proof either, so don't worry about that.
Part of the problem is with that particular thing, there's a lot of presumption that humans by default are lazy. And I think that the presumption really should be that humans by default like to work. It's just that we have different ideas as to what work is.
Yeah, I mean, I know Bill thinks that I do better when I actually have a place to go or I have a place to report to for work. So,
Oh, absolutely. It's
Told me
one
that.
of the reasons why we're here. Is this is a place to work for you and me?
Mm-hmm.
We've artificially created a place to work. But, and it's absolutely true. There's no question that. But I also think that the assumption that people will be lazy if left alone is a dangerous one. I think
I think the most dangerous thing that you can say is that artists die poor because they don't work like a normal person.
Yeah.
The problem is artists, really good artists that I've known that live paycheck to paycheck, worse spots than you and Maya and me and Bill.
Yeah.
Is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how you and I live, because I think we're more or less a little bit more up there to make ends meet, the both of us.
Yeah, I think both of us lucked out that we have partners that help a lot on that zone.
And I've heard YouTube's podcasts where artists are honest and they're like, if it wasn't for the fact that I have someone in my life that makes more money than me, I don't know if I could make it as an artist.
Yeah.
100% of the time, and do these videos or do this podcast and stuff like that, and do these things that I want to do for the community. They're honest about it. It's like, you have to be, because to like all the kids that basically sit there and go, I want to be an artist, and they don't see examples of themselves in the art community or in the art field, or they'll see a picture of themselves, but then like their parents will discourage it because, how dare you become an artist and pursue passions, it dumbfounds me, because like I've been in the grocery store and I've like literally seen little boys and little girls pick up a pad of paper and like crayons or color pencils or something, and go up to their father or mother and basically be like, I want this, I want to have this, I want to do this. And I've literally watched multiple fathers go, this is for something, this is, you shouldn't have that, you shouldn't do this because it's a waste of time. And you're a boy. Why do you want something that girls should be doing, not you?
Well, and I mean, obviously, there's going to be edge cases. And Bill had said something that I think is a concern all the time, which is, if everybody's allowed to do whatever they want, would society continue to function? And I actually believe that it would. And the basis on that is, I know a number of people who, and it wouldn't necessarily be whatever you want per se. I mean, but you could find a way to make things work. For example, I am absolutely fascinated with machines. I could be a mechanic and be completely happy and blissful and tra-la-la, and I could do that. I could see that. I could see working on machines all of my life, working on airplanes, designing airplanes,
Mm-hmm.
designing and building airplanes. I could see doing that. So it's not that I necessarily must draw comics per se, but
Yeah.
having somebody go and say, look, what are you into? And then having an advisor who would say, you know what, you seem to be pretty, because if somebody had actually like focused pretty good on it, was for me to over this in my hand is, you know, I'm sure we, but all of that requires upfront costs. You know what I mean? Like somebody has to invest and not just throw me into the world and say make it work. And that's part
Well,
of it.
yeah, that's part of the problem with the education that I received, because they never really went over any type of contract negotiation stuff. They just basically were like, "Well, you're gonna have to negotiate it yourself. Thanks, bye."
Hope you're okay with that.
Yeah. So you
But I
have a
mean,
lot
that's
of trial and error. You get screwed over when you don't have someone that shows you how to do that stuff properly and doesn't believe that you'll actually get that far.
right.
You know. Um.
And that's the thing is like I think that my friend James, who's an engineer in the army, would have happily worked on fixing crap forever and a day for free. You know, if everything was covered and he didn't have to freak out, and you could say to him, "Do anything you want," he'd be like, "Okay, well, I'm still going to fix the network because the network needs to be fixed, and this company's network needs to be fixed too because it needs to be fixed." There are people who are just driven to do stuff. And I think if we had a
Mhm.
society that asked the individual, you know, what do you want to do? I think we'd find that they still, everything would get done. And there would be those people who just have to do stuff. My wife is a have to do stuff sort of person. She has been spending the entire summer weeding our yard because she's annoyed. She hates weeding. She hates it. But she hates our yard having weeds worse. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
she's been out there fussing with the weeds in the heat and doing something because it needs to be done. And I
Mhm.
think that there are a number of people who, if you just said, hey, all these jobs need to be done, heck, if it was a, you know, every so often I have, you know, somebody comes up and goes, you know what, the playground needs to be rebuilt. I'd go out there and help them rebuild it. I don't know what to do with a playground, but you know, you'd have
Well, whatever
Bill
you do
or
with a playground is you don't want to drive by it slowly in a van that says free candy.
right. We'd still have a Bill or a James who'd be out there on the playground going, okay, it needs to be built this specific way. And then I'd go, okay, you guys know what you're doing. I don't. So I'll just build it the way you told me to. You know what I mean? And like, I'd go out there and help. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The convention is a meritocracy. It's literally a meritocracy. We don't get paid. We don't get
Mm-hmm.
paid to work it. I've been working for 25 years. I am a high level director now, doing really kind of things that I would have necessarily thought I was totally uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I would never have thought I'd be in charge of anything. Who leaves me in charge? Have you guys met me? You know. But now I'm in
I
charge.
have.
Yeah, exactly. Why would you leave me in charge? And so spent all this time on it, and now that's what I do. And it's interesting because it it's turning out to be like a great thing for me. Now I have management experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I have management experience, large job experience, like for large company functions and things like that. I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill had said something also. I absolutely love looking for problems in data. I love it. It is so
Mm-hmm.
satisfying to me whenever I find an error in data and then can fix it and solve the problem. That is such an amazingly satisfying thing. Bill had said, "Why are you not doing DBA work?" And I'm like, "I don't know," because nobody will hire me. I actually put out tons of resumes. Nobody will hire me because I don't look like a DBA on my resume. I look like an artist or a teacher.
A teacher.
Or whatever. So it doesn't look like I'm a DBA at all. And that's part of it is so we have to have a society that values people individually one-on-one, like actually evaluated them, instead of where you're evaluated by metrics of some sort or another.
The problem is those types of jobs, they continue to monitor you with metrics after, and that's not usually always the best motivational tool in a work environment for people to be under that type of stress or scrutiny.
Did I tell you what I used to do as a reports analyst?
No.
This is one of my favorite stories ever. I totally did the meritocracy thing inside of capitalism. It was awesome. So I was hired to be a reports analyst at Time Warner. My job was to analyze the efficiency of the employees. And if they made errors, I was to report those errors to their boss. And then the boss could take disciplinary action. Well, that offended me about 6 ways to Sunday, as you might imagine. So, instead what I did was I would run the report, and then I'd go around to everybody in the knock and say, "Hey, you're on my report. Fix this problem," and they'd fix it, and then I'd run the report again, and look, nobody was on it, And the best part about it is, my manager knew the entire time that was what I was doing. He knew. It worked perfectly for him because his people were always good. It worked perfectly for everybody because the problems were fixed.
Yeah.
And the only people it made mad was one vice president when he found out what was going on, because he really wanted to beat people, I guess. I don't know. But whatever was the story, he was mad that I was robbing them of their ability to discipline people. And I was like, okay.
I thought the whole point was to make sure that they did their job well.
Right, exactly. And that's when I realized there are two types of people in business. There are the people that believe that the only way work gets done is by whipping their employees. And then there are people who think that people work well as teams. And we all just cover each other's butts and all gets done. Everything gets done.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that was the case. And so then I started making these theories that if we worked as teams all the time, a lot more work gets done. And it actually has panned out, because that's a lot of what James was saying the Army has learned, is that they can beat on their recruits and yell at them and scream at them, and they get exactly 100% out of them. But if they...
Oh, we have someone joining us.
Yes. He's talking about concepts of business. Like, I got at least make it shut up.
Wow.
Good morning, Ken.
So, what do you think, guy? Ken?
We can't hear you.
Ken just joining us, so that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, for those of you who know, that's very pretty. We still can't hear you.
Got bend over and shit to his drawers. Well, yeah.
I think we should make it big while Ken's fussing with his audio. I'll make you the large one temporarily so that we can look at it again. That's not the way.
Oh no, it's fine.
Well, hold it up again.
Put me on the spot, guy.
Test.
There we go. Now we can
There
hear
you
you.
go.
I like that piece.
You know, it's amazing what happens when you unmute the mic.
There you go. Much better. Welcome to the show, Kayan.
Welcome. How's it going?
Yeah, so far so good.
Good.
We've been having a philosophical talk about business. Bill is over here in YouTube, making comments and stuff like that, which I think is fun. So,
do we have someone else coming in?
No, that's Kayan bringing up his monitor.
Oh, okay.
And I will switch to here. Oh. I gotta switch to Kayan attacks. Next time on Fox. There we go. I think we got everything squared away.
So what are you working on?
I'm working on an emergency cover for Airship 27. So and I may not be liking where I'm going with this one. That's all right. Guy's losing his mind. I am not losing my mind. I am, however, scanning in pictures of my mom, which just leads itself to a my mom joke. So,
Long time ago, I was told that you can do a your mama joke with your friends, but once your mom died, you don't do your mama jokes anymore.
yeah, well, that kind of that ship sailed.
Yeah.
Because my mom passed in 2002. And I actually wasn't doing Yo Mama jokes until after. So that ship kind of sailed. Anyway. I am working on this. What you working on, Kayan?
I have absolutely no idea. But
I'm just going to start working.
So
It makes sense. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing very good on this one. I'm 3 layers or 2 layers of darkening in. I'm just not liking the way it looks. Operation Annihilate. There's a visit Operation Annihilate. Okay. To be fair. Let's look at some of their other examples here. Because I feel like I should come closer to this in some way. Right? Because I feel like I'm missing something out here on this. Oh yeah, I wanted to acknowledge Bill's comment too. The longer you're out of IT, the more your knowledge is considered irrelevant. Even though, for what I do, all I really need is like a month's worth of training to get back up on whatever we're searching on, and whatever.
You're gonna lead it to Bill going. So why haven't you done that?
What? What? Oh, you mean retrain myself?
Yeah.
Because so far the payoff hasn't matched.
Gotcha.
In other words, I have spent months and months and months and months and months learning new software to be turned down for jobs all the time. So then I get burned out and spend years out, and then we're in the same spot, you know.
Gotcha.
So my whole thought is I'm going the other direction now, which is if somebody wants my skills and talents, I'm willing to lend them to them. If they are willing to let me learn the software, which I can do, but I'm not going to go the other direction, which is to learn the software first. And people go, yeah, no, never mind. We've got somebody more qualified.
Well, if you ever change your mind, I know someone that would probably help.
Yeah. Oh no, I am all on board with doing something like that. That doesn't bother me. In fact, I would enjoy it.
I think we have two people in the comments that would definitely like to see you as Guy, the IT guy.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't mind it. But like I said, I'm no longer going to learn everything up front and then hope for the best, you know, because that was a lot of time that I took down and didn't do anything else.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Because I did. In 2013, I went on ahead and brushed up on Access. I learned Crystal Reports. I went on ahead and did all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And then everyone was like, yeah, no, we looked at your resume and we threw it straight in the trash can. So, sorry. And
did people actually tell you that?
Well, no, but I mean, that was what was happening. I put out about, between 2013 and 2015, I put out 2,700 resumes and received 3 rejection letters. And that was it. And it was brutal. And I was in a super depression at that point. So much so that Mariah said, you need to stop looking for a job because I think you're going to kill yourself if you keep doing this. And she literally stopped me because she was like, you're hurting yourself. You need to stop.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I've had those wonderful conversations where I've basically been very honest with it, stating that I'm essentially an obsolete person.
Yeah. Huh. And I know that both Brent and Bill would be more than happy to help me out and maybe even find a company I could work with. And that might not be a bad idea. Something to consider at this, I am coming up on, and I think in the next few months, 6 months or so, there will be some pivot points coming up. Dr. Freeman, who is a professor out of University of Oregon, comes down every year to work with NDK, and she and I have gotten to talking a number of times, and her whole thing is that maybe I should go back and get a PhD.
Do you have a master's already?
No. I'd have to start all over at the very beginning because my Westwood bachelor's is junk. And the reason I haven't done this is because I'd have to start all over again at, all the 101 classes. There'd be no getting around it. Although Mariah has said I could clep out of a whole bunch of them.
Well, you can test to see if you need to take those classes now with most colleges.
That's what clepping out means. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's right. I mean, I could probably do that. And so, but the thing is that I first of all, I want to see if I have put in a petition to have my original debt wiped out because I don't have a degree. I mean, that seems. I mean, no matter how you feel about the student loan forgiveness thing, for me, I feel particularly wronged because my degree is illegitimate and I still owe the money, and it's a lot of money. And the insurance, or not the insurance, the banks are still taking me to the cleaners for it. So,
you need to look into as part of it, because you're at Westwood. I think that's on the list of things that you can totally have your student loan wiped out 100%.
Yes. You apply, and they will tell you whether they do it or not. I have already applied.
Yeah, it takes some people up to 3 years or more, Kyan, to actually have the debt wiped.
I am on the list
too. I have 2 degrees, both from predatory colleges. So.
Yeah, and don't worry about it, bro. I'm on that list. I am absolutely there. I am 100% there. We just have to wait for the process to go through because it's slow.
To decide that you're not an orc.
Right. Well, and I even put on there as extra evidence, I went to the Colorado Board of Education and tried to be a teacher, which also is a job that I would absolutely adore and love and have so much fun doing, and I would absolutely do it for free if somebody just paid all my bills, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's another job that I just do. I just be a teacher and be happy. But you have to have a bachelor's degree in order to be a teacher. And my degree is null. So I now don't have a bachelor's degree. Technically, all I have is a high school diploma. So I can't.
Again, you might want to look into that because they're so hurting for teachers, they might accept you.
They actually cannot give me the praxis, which is the test.
No.
And they are hurting for teachers, and they have been hurting for teachers forever. But the requirement is state requirements that I have a bachelor's degree and pass the praxis. And they will not give me a praxis without a bachelor's degree.
And that is just for elementary school.
Yeah, I was actually going for junior high, but yeah, it's same thing. Middle school, because I work well.
Elementary and junior high, you just need a bachelor's. If you want to teach high school students, you need a master's. And then if you want to teach college, you have to have a doctoral, or you have to be in a doctoral program at the college.
Yep. I'm going to try something and see whether this just makes a mess of things. Anyway, so the answer is yes, actually. I have been... Every time somebody does something like that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to look into this, and then you're not allowed to.
The last time I found it, I gave you the information. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like the one that I gave you, the one that I told you about, Guy, that one's done through the federal aid program. So.
Yeah. Well, you gave me the website I'm already applied at.
Yeah. You can reapply for it, though, too.
Well, my account says you're still pending, so I don't know whether I should... I mean, I'd have to do a different account, I guess.
No, if it's still pending, then they're still investigating, I guess. I know they were flooded the moment that they made the announcement that Biden was going to redo that program again, and follow through with it, the website was like blocked. It was overrun with people.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I applied during DeVos's time.
Well,
Actually,
let me.
DeVos.
I did not have a good opinion of DeVos, so
Yeah.
no comment.
But I mean, I was hoping that something would work on that one. But that's a different story. Oh, see, that actually turned out pretty nice. I wasn't sure that would turn out nice, but it turned out pretty good. Oddly. I was like, I'm going against the description, and it says use purple. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna use brown, and it'll probably make a mess. And actually, it looked nice. So, that's actually good. So,
Merrick, how's it going?
hey, Merrick.
Hey, Merrick.
We're talking about student loans and getting frustrated and annoyed. That's what we're doing. maybe not the best topic, but it's a thing.
Well, I'm happy. I'm just down to this spot right here after doing the initial washes and everything for the undertone layers of everything going on.
Yep.
This image. So, that's where I'm at. So, I found out the process that I'm going to do on this. I won't be able to leave this outside, so it's going to be an indoor home decor piece.
Fair.
And
Uh-oh, you got a tablet. I'm only saying that because, so Merrick's been he ordered a tablet and CSP, and so now he's going to start getting into that. He's going to get into the mix. He's going to become one of us. Then it's going to be all downhill from there.
Why does it have to be downhill?
Have you met us?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. Why does it have to be downhill? Jeez.
You'd be stuck forever doing artwork because you're driven. You could fall uphill. It could happen. Oh, it does look really nice. Maybe I should do that. Okay, guys. I gotta do it. Sorry.
Gotta do what? Oh.
I was on the wrong layer.
How bad was it?
How
bad was it?
Not that bad, but still, I was on the wrong layer. I'm like, hey, this looks kind of nice. Then I realized, it's because you're not on multiply mode. 1, 2. It's kind of a bummer because it actually did kind of turn out nice. So I might actually have to go up on a natural layer and lay in some of this brown with natural color. we go. Are you done scanning? Before my skin goes back to sleep. Well, I'm hanging out with Marcel a lot. That's interesting. Marcel was my cousin that kind of went off the deep end. Broke from the family, sort of, and that kind of stuff. So when I look at all these pictures of them at like 5 and 6, and they're all hanging out together, and I think about like Marcel's not. I can't even send the pictures to her because she doesn't want to talk to me. You know, I didn't even do anything. I don't know what falling out happened, but it wasn't me that did it. So
Our family kind of went through a similar with my mom's brother. There was a big falling out, and he disowned the entire family.
Yeah. That's always a shame when you're doing something like I'm doing, where I'm just scanning old pictures, and I'm like, oh, this is so and so. Oh, this is so and so. You know, so and so would love. I can't actually talk to that person. You know.
I actually have family members like that. So
Yep.
I think everyone at least has one.
Oh yeah, it's just sad. So I'll be the good steward, and I'll just keep him, and then someday maybe Marcel's kids will want the information. I'll give it to them.
The thing is like my grandfather had a brother, and so when I say like we didn't know exactly what happened was he got married. The wife didn't like the family, so he cut off all communication with everyone. Well, the wife ended up dying, and then he got Alzheimer's. And so my grandfather basically was like, I'm just going to look up, see on how he's doing. And come to find out, like, everyone that he was in a nursing home for memory issues, and it was state-run, and no one even realized that he had family.
Right.
At all. So that's like the saddest part about that type of stuff, because like the rest of the family doesn't know what happened until it's already too late.
Yeah.
And then my uncle flew him from California, where they lived, to be cared for by my grandfather in Florida, because he didn't want his older brother alone in a state-run facility in California.
Yeah.
So that's what I grew up with. Apparently, his wife was not a very nice person. That's all I know.
Right?
But I mean, I was literally told like she was like by the description alone, she was like Satan incarnate by most of the family.
Right.
Why is that becoming more and more of a common theme?
with what?
Yeah, I think
With
That
what?
people
I'm sorry, I didn't.
are becoming more and more that people are becoming more and more uh, not difficult to deal with, but just nasty. You know,
yeah,
Well, she
like
was.
life's too short for being.
Well, she would have been considered basically our grandparents' age. So she was like this. Like I'd never met this woman. Like to the point of like my mom never even met her. My grandparents knew her because of the wedding that they had. That's about it. But then after that, like my mom and my grandfather were like, yeah, they moved to California. They announced that they weren't having children. Like she demanded that. She told my uncle like she demanded that she never have children with him
demanded.
or anything. And he comes from like a huge family, and everyone was expecting him to have kids. Um, because he was a nice person and they thought he would be a wonderful father. But like the way that they described her was completely like just nasty.
Yeah,
And
I think one of the things that Brian's asking, I've actually pondered as well. You know, which is what makes people decide to be asses? And it seems like to me, it feels like people decide to do that because they've had enough bad experiences to believe that that's the way the world is. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they get to a point where everybody's been so mean to them. But I've also been kind of building a theory in life that I call it the red light theory, which is because it's based off of a situation that I used to do where I used to hit this red light every day. And because the light had no cross traffic ever, it was the most annoying light. You'd be forced to stop at the red light every day, and there was no cross traffic. And so I was like, man, this light is timed that no matter which way I get here, no matter how I drive here, it's always red. And so I was like, that can't be true. So I actually put a sticky note on my dashboard with a pen and marked every time I got to that light when it was green and every time I got to that light when it was red. And after 2 months, would you believe it was exactly 50-50? But because the red light annoyed me so much, in my head, it was always red. Always red. And so after that, I started looking at other incidences in my life where I was like, I wonder if, let's just say, for example, Cain is always saying bad things to me or whatever. And I realized, no, he's not. It's 50-50. He's always saying good things and bad things. I just remember the bad things. And I think people let that eat at them. I think what happens is they start to believe, especially things that can't leave.
well, I mean, Bill put in there the reason why people are like that is they're selfish. So,
Well, I theorize that selfish is probably true because there's a certain amount of selfishness, but what is selfish relative?
well, I mean, for like some people that block off communication from their loved ones and family, it's a form of abuse.
Yeah.
They either feel like they weren't loved enough as children or something. They have trauma with like abandonment, coping mechanisms, stuff like that.
Sure.
But like with my family, I mean, it could seriously be that. Like it really could. And I'm not saying that my great uncle was like that.
Yeah.
But I think what it was she was probably coming from a place where she didn't want to have children because she probably experienced something traumatic as a child and she didn't want
Sure.
to pass that on. And, my uncle just went along with it because that's, he loved her.
Well, moreover, since he was married to her, she probably explained the trauma and he concurred. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he didn't. But back, like, let's just say back then, they didn't really talk about that stuff openly. So the family basically thought that she was control. He basically allowed the family to basically think and continue to think that she was a controlling, manipulative bitch.
Right. But that's kind of what I'm saying, though. Yeah, back then they didn't talk about that a lot, but yeah, they did. I mean, some things were talked about, and they just called it pillow talk, and they wouldn't allow it on TV.
Yeah.
But I mean, my grandmother in her last years, and she would have been older than this set. You know what I mean? Like, my grandmother was born in 21. She, in her last years, I was old enough, because I was in my late 20s, I was old enough for her to be pretty candid about the things that she and my grandfather talked about. And I was interested in the stories and stuff like that. And she went through a lot of stuff that was like, whoa, I didn't know that happened, sort of things. And everybody knew. They were open about it. We all knew. Everybody knew.
Yeah. But in my family, no one knew.
Right. And that's a different
what
thing.
I'm trying to say is each family from that time period handled things differently. So like yours may have been open, mine was not. Like they.
And I'm not saying all of them were. Here's another one. Here's my mom in the newspaper, as she graduated from high school and what college she was selected to. It's apparently newspaper worthy.
Is that my mic?
No, that's Can's getting back online. Although it is making Can sound like he's the devil. It's very entertaining.
Huh?
Your mic is sounding like it's the devil.
Yep, there's a whole bunch of going on.
That's weird.
Stephen F. Austin. Hey, Can, I think you.
How about now?
Oh, there we go. That's better.
So it's better
Right?
now?
Can, you are fast. I look over and boom, there's Art. What does it say? Miss Stevens, you've been named editor of the 1967 Stone Fort. Congrats, with a D. We will meet in my office at 2 p.m. Monday, May 9th. Please contact me if for some reason you cannot attend, but plan to make it May 6th, 1966. I love the fact that it says congrats, because that, to me, sounds like they needed an editor. And my mom would definitely have been on that one. She would have been all over that one. You are invited to be initiated into Sai Chi on Thursday, March 1st at 7 o'clock in the French room in the College Center. That's kind of cool. It's all my mom's college stuff.
So, guy, if you're whisked away for like some weird interplanetary war now, because I still have that whole going through mom's things after she passed, and then rusted into a world that I've never knew that my mom was part of type storyline.
Right?
You
This
know,
does sort of add to that, doesn't it?
yeah, it
It
does.
adds all to that. Whoa, this is her getting put into a sorority, and ooh, here she is getting. She's the editor, and wow.
Hey, why did that picture just shift slightly, and I see an alien, and now it's back to a human girl?
It is totally
What's going
what
on?
happened. It's totally what happened. Cracks me up. All these things fascinate me no matter what. I mean, like, it's fascinating to look at because, of course, it's your mom. She was a real person. She was a real human being.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to look and see bits of her life. You know what I mean? Like, things that she did and stuff that just occurred. And I knew she was in a sorority. I knew she had all of that stuff. Her entire college career went down the tubes, though, pretty quickly, because she got pregnant in the Bible Belt in 1967 because she went to a kegger and got drunk. And, there was no way out of that one. So that dumped her from college. So she lost all of that. She was doing good, too. But, that's the way it was in 67. There's nothing you can do about that. She ended up without a bachelor's degree, and she ended up with damaged reproductive organs. It was great. Whole lot of fun. Oh, hey, it's my dad. We are in the era of really weird Polaroids of my mom and my dad. This is the era of my dad looking like a used car salesman. It is still my favorite thing to make fun of him for.
Is that in the 60s?
Yeah, you got it.
My grandfather actually had like this whole thing. Like, I looked at pictures of him and also my dad around the same time, and like they put my dad in a little suit, and my grandfather wore a suit, and that was back before like his hair was starting to thin. So
Yeah.
like he had it like combed over because it, that sort of deal, and he looked the same. Like he had that brown suit, he had a mustache. He had like the whole typical like, hey, I'm gonna sell you this car. And what made matters worse is my grandfather worked for Nabisco.
Yep.
As a person that went and made sure that the shelves were stocked with product.
My dad worked for Brown and Root, which was a oil company out of New Orleans at the time.
Yeah.
They were in New Orleans in the ninth Ward. And then they moved back to Houston. Then they moved, and things went all over the place. So,
I'm a bit fast when I draw.
yeah, you're a little weirdly fast. It's a little scary. It's intimidating. It's intimidating. There you go.
Yeah, Bill just commented about all the boxes and everything we got of Family History recently this past weekend.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'll be there for 2 more weeks, though.
You can come early. Bring Maya. Bring the kid.
Right? They like you.
I think they like you too.
Maybe questionable.
It's questionable at times because they live with you.
On the kid's case last night. He keeps
Well,
waving
first
at
of
the
all,
ball.
you're a parent. Your kid is going to always.
I'm always on his case. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I actually watched something last night on the parenting styles of The Incredibles from Disney Pixar, and one of the psychiatrists made a very good point. As parents, you get frustrated when your child likes someone and behaves for them and is a complete angel for them, but when they get around you, you're like, where'd that sweet angel go?
You know, it's interesting though. I actually have had pretty good luck recently with a kid as he's been trying to work on getting over just ADD being an annoying thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's been really working on that, and I'm very proud of him for it. He's been identifying when he's acting like a 5-year-old, and identifying that it's not the world's best, and he probably should do better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm just very proud of him for that. I'm like, hey, good job, dude. You know, you're working on this. Good job working that problem, because it is kind of aggravating.
But I'm talking like when my cousin's kids were living with me, I sat there and I updated my cousin like what's been going on at my house. And I basically started off with, well, your 2-year-old is no longer going to bed with a sippy cup. Your 4-year-old won't go to bed on time still.
Right.
But she at least complies to the 8:30 bedtime. And like she kept like falling over because every single time I was like, we've gotten them to bed, we've gotten them to sleep, we've tired them out so that they can basically go to bed at 8:30. We don't do like big long naps in the afternoon so that they fall asleep later at night. Stuff like that. We don't allow them to we weren't allowing them to take naps, say at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon where they sleep until like 6. Like we weren't allowing that.
Right.
And the 2-year-old did get naps. Let me say
2-year-olds get naps whether they like it or not.
Yeah. But like while they were with us, her 2-year-old didn't have any tantrums except for one time when they were in our care and everything. And she was just like, why are they so good for you, but not with me? And stuff like that.
Man.
So
there are a lot of that's a doctoral thesis in and of itself.
Oh, yes.
So, anyway. All right, we're coming up on 11 o'clock.
I wonder if also, am I muted? No.
Nope, we're
I
hearing
also
you.
wonder if it's a little bit of the that light that you were talking about, where you perceive them as being bad because it comes up
Red
on
light.
your radar when
Yep.
Actually it's more like 50-50.
Yep, I agree.
I think with these particular kids, I can tell you without a doubt that that's probably the case. Seeing that they're my cousin's kids, they are really good kids. My cousin was suffering from some problems that probably prevented her from seeing the good that was going on with them. So, but you know what? They are in the care of some really nice people, my aunt and uncle, who are their grandparents. So, and they're doing really well.
That's good.
So, and the kids are behaving for them too. And I think it's all good. It's working out for the best for the kids. So that's all you can really ask for.
Wow. Wow, I said wow, and I heard an echo. There's some pictures over here from my mom's baby shower. Time for you to go back to work, Merrick. See you later.
Bye, Merrick.
It's actually time for us to go to lunch, so there's that. Although now I'm horribly curious what green things are showing up over here. Let's see what Pepper did.
Ta-da!
I like
Oh,
it.
that's looking nice. I like it.
Yeah, I just have to finish this part, the stairs, and then the ground, and then finish the inside border. I'm going to spray it, and then the spray that I'm doing is a workable fix. So I'll be able to paint on top of it, but I'm also debating on putting a watercolor medium down to protect it before I do anything else, because this stuff, like, wood and watercolor, not the greatest combo, but I've been doing a dry on wet, wet on dry technique, so it's been nice, but it doesn't work with every color, as you can tell.
Right.
And I also have gouache that I have to lay down too. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
I
That's mine.
am going to close everything down and head to lunch. Because my next job is to work over on the school stuff. So that's where I'm headed, is go work at driver's school and work on the new curriculum, which they've hired me to actually log in every day and work on the curriculum, which is actually really cool. It makes me super happy because really, frankly, they need to kind of straighten up that curriculum a little bit. So it's all good. They know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I'm just happy to be part of the team. Let's do it.
Well, there you go.
So
There you go.
it's good to see you, Kane. Good to have you on board. Good to have you with us, Pepper. And Merrick, thank you for being here. Brent, thank you for being here. Bill, thank you for joining us as well. I appreciate all of you guys. And this has been kind of an interesting discussion all day today. Fascinating stuff. So, and I will see you all. I might actually log in Sunday night. So we'll see how Sunday rolls out. I'm starting to phase out the night shows a little bit and do them whenever I win. It's because, like, I've been getting good sleep this last week because I haven't been doing the night shows. So, kind of like, well, we'll see whether I start having insomnia again. So, if that happens, then I'll just have to work, because why not? So, cool. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.